All right, let's talk about kickstarting our design. So what I am going to do here is I'm going to stop this. As I said, here's the file I just did. So you can start seeing some of these wires going through here. See all those wires? That's to add in the interactivities, which is something we'll be doing. But now let's tour the workspace. Let's get to know the XD interface. I'm going to come up in here. Once you launch XD, you will come to this splash screen right here. This allows you to set up screen sizes. As you can see right up here, I can set up different screen sizes. I have iPhone, right? The 11, 6, 7, 8, even an Android. I have an iPad. Multiple. I have an Android tablet. I have a Surface Pro. I have 3 different sizes of screens for desktop. You can actually set up a custom size, although we're not going to do a custom size because we have specific sizes we must, or specific devices we are targeting. So this is where we're going to set up, we're going to begin for the project, this mod. Right down here, under the recent, the more projects you open up, you'll see your recent ones. Down here to the lower left-hand corner is what's new. If you click on that, it'll give you the latest what's new in XD. I would recommend that everyone make sure that you are up to date in XD. So make sure that you are showing that everything is up to date. Learn and support gives you some basic tutorials. It has even a get started, a user guide. This would also help you as well. Any questions so far on that? All right, up here is add-ons. This allows you to select plugins, but we're going to do that from, yeah, if you just downloaded it, it'll be up to date, yes. And if it's not up to date, you should get a notification that says you have a Creative Cloud icon to update or a Creative Cloud app to update. But yeah, if you just download it, you've got the most up-to-date one. But we can click on add-ons here and get UI kits, but we're going to do that from within the program. So the UI kits, they really just have just some assets that you could use for different user interfaces. It's not going to do the assignment for you, but it does have some, like you could get your Facebook and Twitter icons, which are required from there. All right, so now let's set up a new project. I'm going to jump back really quick into the course, and we have a website. So we have 3 devices. So we have a website, a mobile phone. That can be an iPhone or an Android, and then we have a tablet. So let's begin by, I need to create, to start your document, you need to create one artboard. You need to select one of these. I am going to select the web, 19 by 20. I can click on that, and now it opens up. You see that? So this is my artboard. It says right up here in the top right-hand corner, web 1920. Artboard 1. That 1 means artboard 1. Up here on the top, XD, about XD, tells you a little bit about XD. Now, if you're on a PC, you're going to see a little bit different user interface. all these menus up here are a little bit different. So I'm going to jump over. I'm going to show you what a PC interface is. You have a little hamburger menu right here. If you click on that, you're going to get everything that I'll be showing you right here. It gives you, it just opens up another window as well as your help down here. So the help is where you would, you know, for example, this would be where you'd see about XD versus about XD here. Okay, so now, if we go under file, this is where you have, you know, they're just basic. You have you can create a new file here. You have the keyboard shortcuts. How many of you are a fan of keyboard shortcuts? I'm a big fan. So Command or Control N. I can open up recent. We can get UI kits, but we'll talk about these more. You have to be very aware of what you're using if you choose these. We close, we save as. Export. So this is where you export artboards as a PDF, which we will be doing. I'll go over that more tomorrow. This is where you would import your photos that you want to be using. So export, again, this is a little bit different. You know, if you select all artboards, notice right here, I can select, you know, I can select the format. I can export for whatever I wanted to. And then, so we can, I only have one artboard. That's why it's only giving me one. But if I had more, then it asked me to do all of them. So it looks, it is very basic. It is very, very basic. The edit menu has your usual options, right? We can undo, we can redo, you know, cut, copy, paste, duplicate, delete, select all. It even has spelling and grammar. It's a very simple menu. And a lot of the functions that you normally find in an edit menu are going to be found over here on the right. This is going to be your properties panel, which is going to be activated here shortly. The object menu, again, you have some basics. It allows you to work with objects. So that means you can group, you can ungroup, you can actually lock objects, you can hide them if you want to. You know, we can add color, character styles, a number of different things. We'll be going through all this as we move forward. We can align, distribute, you know, has different, you know, Pathfinder has your text. You can modify your text here, although I would recommend that you modify it or do your formatting over here in the properties panel. Plugins aren't going to really play a role this mod. Under the view, we can zoom in, we can zoom out. You also have a zoom tool in the tools panel right here. So you can see the tools panel is really simple as well, right? You have a lot of the same things as in pretty much all the programs. So yes, as in Illustrator and InDesign, but it's a little bit simpler than both of those programs. So yeah, very good observation. We can, the zoom to fit all, right up here, view, zoom to fit all is really cool because it gives you the ability to, you know, as many artboards as I have. So for example, I could zoom in on this one right here, but I could view and I could zoom to fit all and I can see all the artboards in my entire project. So if I had, you know, another 30 artboards here, I could still zoom in to see them all, which is kind of cool. You can zoom into 100%, you could go 200%. Command 0 again is back to the full screen there. So it's very useful. That part right there. Now, that's pretty simple. You know, here's your window. You can change that. You can bring everything to the front. Right here shows you the two documents. I have two XD documents open, so I can flip back and forth between those. Notice this one right here is Untitled 1. And it tells me right up here, it tells me the name of my document. To save this document, I can click on this. Actually, let's come up here, File and Save As. And then it gives me the option to save it on my computer or my cloud. I can save it to my computer. If I want to save it to a different place than where it says, I can click on that, and then I can navigate to where I want to save it at. I can choose that folder, then I can rename this. And then I hit save, and then you'll see that change to Adobe XD. All right. Now let's go over, the tools panel is over here on the left. Can you all see that? Right over here on the left is my tools panel. This is where all the tools that you're going to be using are located. There's not very many tools. So it's not really a drawing application. The tools, like I said, are very limited, but they're also very powerful. So the tools panel starts with the selection tool right up here. And then right beneath that, down here is our artboard tool. This is where we add the different size artboards. So watch this. This is really cool. If I click on the artboard, notice over here to the right, my properties panel is activated. Now look what I can add. Look, so I know that if I go back into the course, I need to have 4 web pages, correct? Okay, let's fix that right now. Let's add those. If this was 1920, I want to make sure all my web pages are the same size. So I can click, and let's come up here, view and fit, zoom to fit all. Look at that, it added it right next to it, lines them up perfectly. We can click on here, right? So, and then now we can select down at the bottom 1920, and we'll add 1920. Let's view, fit, zoom to fit all. Let's rename this file. And this file should be called this is going to be my assignment. And this file is named first and last. So let's jump back over into here. And we'll just come up here, File, and I can save as. And I want to save this on my computer. And I'm just going to add that into there. And I'll put this my first and last name. And then we save it. We don't have to add an extension. It's automatically added for us. You can see it's changed it. The next thing we need to add is we have to have a mobile app, which are going to be 4 pages, correct? 4 pages, and then a tablet, which is only 2. So let's go back into our artboard. Select the artboard, and then look over here. Here's my phones. Here's my mobile. It's not going to be a watch. So what are you going to use? Max 11, the Pro, 6, 7, 8. Let's just take the Pro. I need 4 of them. And now I need to add a tablet. Okay, the tablet is going to be, is it going to be an iPad Pro 10.5, 11, or 12.9? Or is it going to be a tablet? You also have an Android mobile if you want. It's a little bit smaller. If I don't want that to delete an artboard, all I have to do is select the artboard and delete it. Very simple. So I select, delete. And now I need 2 tablets, correct? Maybe I'll go with the Surface Pro and the Surface, and they need to be the same, so make sure you pay attention. And there. Let's view, zoom to fit all, and there we go. Yes, you have to pick the ones you want. So you have to pick a website. Is your website going to be, these are the 3 screen sizes you have. They all you have to have 4 screen sizes, but they all have to be the same. So you can't have one that's 1920, one that's 1366, and 2 that are 1280. They all have to be, you have to have 4 that are the same size. You have a phone, a mobile app. Is it going to be the iPhone? So here are your 5 choices for the iPhone and 1 Android. They all have to be the same, so you can't mix and match. And then you have to have 2 tablets. Is it going to be the Android tablet, the Surface Pro, or the iPad? Did that answer your question, Andrea? Okay, perfect. Now, if I want to move these around, watch what I can do. I can just drag and highlight those and just move these over here. That makes it a little bit easier. Let's view, zoom to fit all. Okay, what kit do we download? What kit? What kit is it you want? We don't need a kit right now. Are you talking about the user interface kit? Okay. So that is our artboard. So we've set up, I've set my document up. I've set my assignment up. Okay, you need to come into here, your apps, and you have to find your app here. And you'll have XD. And you have to find the XD and install it. Did that answer questions? Okay, so, all right, so that's where you find it. So go to your cloud. All right, here's your apps, your Adobe apps. Find here's all the apps that you have access to through your subscription. XD is XD right there, XD. Okay. And it's going to be right next to InDesign. Usually it should be right next to the InDesign. XD mobile, I'm not. Are you trying to click on this? You should, okay, I'm not sure why it's asking you to pay. Are you not, maybe you're not logged into your Adobe account. You have to be logged into your account. So you can see I'm logged in right here, but you have to make sure that you're logged in. But once you're logged in, then you have access to all the apps. You're not going to be, So maybe you've got the mobile selected. You want to make sure the desktop is selected. And then you just navigate to where it's at, and then you can install it. Okay, did that answer your question? This is what our assignment is, yes. This is the beginning of the assignment. We have to do the assessment before we can move forward on this, but this is, the assignment is set up. I've already set the assignment up. Okay, let's look at some tools here. So we have the rectangle tool right over here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my zoom tool, and I'm just gonna zoom in to this artboard just by drawing a marquee around it. And here is my rectangle tool. I'm gonna select that, and it's very, very, very easy. It's as it says, it's used for drawing squares and rectangles. If I just click and drag, now look what we have over here. It activated my properties panel. This tells you a tremendous amount of, it gives you a tremendous amount of information about this, as long as it's highlighted. But watch, once I deselect it, I don't see anything there. This must be activated. You have to highlight it. Over here, I can adjust this if I want to, but right here you can see that it has here's the fill. It's checked, and it says it's white. Okay, that means it has a white fill. This is checked, it says it has a border. Okay, that's pretty explanatory, right? Down here it says the size. This is 1 pixel. If I want to change the size of the border, I can pop in any number I want and hit my tab key. Notice what my tab key does. It goes from field to field. If I wanted to add a dashed line, I could say, okay, I'm going to type in 3, and look at that. I can create a dash. I can hit Shift Tab and go back up to that same field, or the previous field. So there, if I want to change the color, you can see this is kind of a gray. I can select, I can click on that, and then I can drag. So if I wanted to change this to blue, I can change that to blue. If I want to go all the way solid black, I can drag it to black. We select that. And the same applies if I want to fill this. I click on the fill, and I can select anywhere's in here. We'll add maybe just this yellow color there. We can change it. We want to move up higher, go to the red. There we go. Kind of cool, isn't it? So there is color. And again, once I deselect it, I don't have any controls over here. I have to select the object. I can, if I roll over, right, I can, just like you do in Illustrator or InDesign, I can rotate this. If I hold the Shift key down, it constrains it. You can see right up here, 90 degrees. If I want to make that back to 0, I can type in 0 and hit my tab. If I want to constrain this, meaning if I want to resize this to say 400, and I'll hit my tab and go to 600, and I want to make sure that if I scale it, it scales correctly or proportionally, I can lock that. I can click on that, and now watch. It constrains it. I can't distort this, versus this distorts it. Cool, right? This tells me where it's at. This is the width and the height. This is where it is in position to the artboard. The repeat grid, let's talk about that repeat grid that I thought was so cool, that I told you was so cool. I have my object selected. Let's come up here, and right up here at the very top, it says repeat grid. If I click on that, now look here what I have. I have some handles, these green handles. So you can see they're not there now. Once I click on the repeat grid, now look, all I do is drag out this handle and watch what happens. Is that cool or what? I'll move this up here and I'll drag some more down there. Look at that. Look at that, how it changes. All of them change. We can change the color in those. Look at that. Is that cool? And look, they're all the same size, the same width. And yes, we can do that again. So let's ungroup this. Let's just remove that. So let's take this one off. So here's my object. I select my object. I come right up here to the repeat grid and I have to click on repeat grid, and then you've got, you're in the repeat grid when you see these two little handles right here. So if I mouse over them, they change the green. All I do is click and drag. But you have to be you have to be aware to the attention of detail. I don't want this one off of here, so I can just drag in there. Cool, isn't it? This is something you're going to be using for the wireframe. Trust me. All right. Also, let me just go back into here. And if I want to ungroup these, then I can just ungroup them and get rid of them. I can also, let's just make this a little bit larger here. I can also, right over here, you can change the corner radius. So right down here, over on the properties panel, I can say, okay, I want this to be, this is all pixels. So that's 30 pixels. Maybe I'll go 50 pixels. If I want to change them individually, all I have to do is click on this little dot. Here's this one's solid. See how the tooltip says same radius for all corners. Now look, let's say I want this one to be 0, and I want this one to be 20, and I want this one to be 15. Is that cool? Very cool. I can say, you know what, I'm just using my shift tab. I only want this one to be there. I can also, let's just make this go back to a square. I can also click right up here. If I select the object, notice I've got these 4 circles right in each of the corners. I can then drag these and make the corners. Change the radius. Okay, so no, when I make the square, yes, when I make the square, I have to click the rectangle, I have to click and drag. I don't hold shift. You can hold shift and that constrains it. If you want to constrain it from the inside so it scales from the inside, you can hold the option key down. A very good question. Let's change this border up to maybe like 10 pixels. And again, if I want to change the radius, I can click this and change them all. And you can see them over on the right-hand corner there, they're all changing. So you can do them manually. Or here's another cool thing. If I want to just change one, I can hold my option key down or alt key on the PC and drag. Look at that. It only changes one corner. If I want to do this one. So you can see right here, right? It's 127 and all the other ones. 0 means it's just a square angle right there. Kind of cool, isn't it? If I want to, now these are, the cool thing about these are, they are vectors. So, and that means you can actually edit them. If I just double click on this, notice how my pen tool, and now watch, I just drag, and I can come up here and click and drag. If I double click, now I can make a rounded corner there. If I hold my, so there we go. Is that kind of cool or what? Very cool. The circle, we have our circle, which, I would hold the shift key down to constrain that. I want a perfect circle. And again, we have the same options here. We can change the fill, we can change the border. And we can add a color in there if I want to. If I don't want a stroke, which I wouldn't have a stroke on this at this size because you can't see it, I can take the stroke off of there. There we go. We have the line tool, and it does exactly what it says. It's a line tool, right? It just draws a line. If I hold my shift key down, it constrains it. And then you can see that here's the size. I can adjust the size. I can do the same thing. If I want to have it a dashed line, I could say, okay, 5 pixels, and the gap would be, you know, whatever you choose. I can change this. Let's just take this off. I can change the end on it. So now look, the end has a round on there. See how it's rounded? The end of it's round. That's by adding that right there, changing that. That goes square, that's round. So a lot of these have some of the same features that you see in, you know, in Illustrator, etc. Right? The pen tool, which is something you'll be using in week 2 when we create our icons, works the same as it does anywhere. So I can click, drag. If I hold my shift key down, it constrains it. There we go. And then I could add my color, all the good stuff like that. We have right up here is the triangle. Now, again, if I hold the shift key to any of these tools, it constrains them, meaning you get the perfect size. You can see. So watch, here's a cool thing about this. I have 3 sides. If I want to have 6, I can pop that in there. Look at that. If I want to change the radius of those a little bit, we can even do that. Look how it kind of has that subtle, the corner radius is changed. That's really cool, isn't it? But again, you have to select the object in order to do anything with these over here in the properties panel. And we'll use these, we'll be going over these more. I'm just kind of giving you a little introduction to them. The text tool, we can draw a text box, which is what I would suggest we do. We're going to be using a text, because if you don't use a text box, then you don't get that drag and drop that I've been telling you about. So, you know, we can have, here's a simple text frame. You can see right over here, it says, this is the typeface. I can change the typeface. Actually, I have to select this. We can change the size. We can change, again, the field. We don't want a border on this, so you want to be very careful that you're not adding a stroke outline to your text. So we can change the field to maybe solid black. There we go. You have the alignment. I can change this to simple or a center alignment. You can see it's 44 pixels, and here's the leading, so I can reduce the leading, meaning the line space in between. And if I want this left align, I can do that. And we'll be going over text more tomorrow. So text frame works the same as it does in the other programs. Notice how it just reflows. And then we have another way. If I just want to type text, I can say, this is adding text on a path. And to adjust the text, all I do is grab that and drag. Look at that. That's another way to drag that, or that's text on a path. Our assignment is to create a web page, a mobile app, and a tablet. You have 4. These are user interfaces. These are the screens. So we're going to create a screen for each of these pages. Each one of them, we're going to have specific requirements that we have to do. That's part of solving the problem that we're going to be doing tomorrow. Did that answer your question? Okay, so tomorrow it's even going to be more clear on what we're doing. So we've just set up the assignment, which is the wireframe, but we have to tackle the sitemap first. And the sitemap kind of gives us that little blueprint that we can start doing this with, or that we can start moving forward with the wireframe. So that's an overview of, again, like I said, they're simple, but they're very powerful tools. You know, I would encourage everyone to kind of, you know, familiarize yourself with each one of these tools, because we're going to be using them a lot as we go through this, but we're going to be covering them in much greater detail in the upcoming weeks. In fact, starting tomorrow is what we're going to be doing. Any questions? So tomorrow is going to be a shorter class. It's just going to be about an hour, maybe a little bit over, and we're going to be doing the assignment and the assessment. All right. Any questions? Tomorrow's at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow's at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. All right. I appreciate your time. Glad to see everyone back for a new year, new mod. But again, this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a very fun class. All right. Y'all have a great day.